Reducing team pessimism. When your team is feeling very pessimistic about the future, they don't perform well. And in fact, they may be so overwhelmed by the pessimism in the team that they're not taking action at all, or taking very little action, or what they're doing is they're contracting and they're not taking risk that maybe you need them to take, at least in moderation. They're not reaching out and helping others because they're not in an abundant mindset. They're not more likely to go help others, to go train others, to maybe even go the extra mile for your customers. So what's the solution? Well, there's a quite simple solution. It doesn't eliminate all pessimism, because some pessimism, by the way, is good on the team, because playing the devil's advocate can help create a more thoughtful solution. But in a crisis, you want to reduce the pessimism and elevate the hope and optimism so you can get on to bigger and better things and identify the opportunity. So a simple way to approach this is when you're in a team meeting and you felt the pessimism's high, have your team, instead of speaking the things that are on their mind that may be negative or pessimistic, have them take a minute or two and write them down. That's right. Get them out of their head where things are swirling and they're feeling overwhelmed. Have everybody on your team write down their concerns and their pessimistic thoughts first before they speak them. What that does is it gets them out of their head onto paper. And once they're onto paper, they often start to realize that maybe things aren't quite as bad as what they thought they were in the beginning. And it also helps them get control of it, because once it's out of their head onto paper, it becomes much more manageable. Now, when they're on the paper, you can ask them to go around and maybe circle something that's really hot for them on that list, and then they can speak and talk about that. Or you can say, hey, we're going to reconvene later in that day, because it actually puts a little space between the worried, pessimistic thoughts and taking action. And just say, hey, get them onto paper and let's talk about them later in the day. And putting that space can help turn mountains of worry into molehills and make things much more manageable for your team and start to increase the optimism of your group.